I guess I am back. I gotta be honest with you guys. It's hard to get back. It's hard to get back in the rhythm of continuing. I want to try to break down this video in a little bit about how I see the future, what we're gonna talk about, what we need to, where the world is today, and then I'm also, for those of you who want to stick around until the end, talk about my personal situation because I do know I have a few good friends out there that actually do care. So it's been a while and it is difficult to get back on track. And I'm not going to use so many graphs and we're not going to use so many charts today because I want this to be a kind of like an introduction video to what we are going to do with this channel in the future and how I need to prepare you for not only the content that I'm going to provide, but in order for you to understand how we are going to make money out of it and the risks that we have, because there are substantial risks and there are obviously also a huge opportunity. So first things first, why is it tough to get back? It's tough to get back, obviously, from the personal reason when, you got to get back and get the studio up and running, but that will be in the third part. It's hard to get back because so many things have happened. Now, if you have followed this channel, you will know that I've always touched on geopolitics. I've tried with sarcasm, with making a little bit of jokes, but we have still also focused on the geopolitical aspect of it, of the current global leaders that are running the world. We have also I've tried to speak a lot about the fiat, or let's say the current global monetary system that we have in the majority of the world today. Now, crypto never sleeps. It's almost like the name is not really relevant anymore because crypto never sleeps was a field that name was very good a while back, but right now we are really seeing let's call it a fusion. Let's call it the future of finance is being built right in front of our eyes and it's being built on the blockchain. And when we say that the future of finance, you see, until now, we have very much been experiencing a segregated part of an investment industry. You see, all of you who have been around for a while, right? I have not very often, but I have at times, I've tried to evade that question, but I have done it a few times. And I want you, when you will look back now, you will understand when I ask the question, how did you benefit from the blockchain? How did you benefit from crypto? And by the way, today I'm talking completely unscripted. How did you benefit from it? And if you look deep inside yourself, in your heart, you will understand that, well, we benefited from it because we were making money. And now when the market is down, the majority actually did not benefit from it making money. And that's what we see every time when we see a bear market or when we see a retracement as we're seeing now, right? Because the pigeons, the sheeps, the idiots, that was only in here for the money. And we do need them because we need, the majority of society are pigeons and sheep, right? And we need their money in order to boost the market cap. But I'm not asking you how you benefited from it, even if you are one of those who follow this channel from the beginning, and if you actually did buy when I bought, and if you did sell when I sold, then, we did make money. We did what we were supposed to do. The thing is now is that crypto never sleeps is not a relevant name because we are now seeing how the future of finance is shaping. And when we talk about the future of finance, you do not talk about a small segregated part of an industry. You actually talk about all major industries. And when I say all major industries, I'm not only talking about insurance, pharmaceuticals, banking, automobiles, real estate. They are actually, of course, they all come together and they make a part of the future of finance. But the real part or the real thing, the main deal, the main event is, of course, monetary system. So I believe that we are seeing a transition from, you can also call it a technical evolution, but I see we are seeing an improvement, of which we should be scared of. But we are seeing a technical evolution and improvement. We are seeing the current monetary system implode, and it's going to be portrayed. And when I say portrayed, that's also not the right word, because there will be good parts of the blockchain that could improve the future finance, but also we know that the negative part is that it comes with a certain amount of control. And we're also seeing many new intermediaries, I would call them, applications. Don't call them decentralized application, call them application based on that blockchain, which in turn will only be, let's say, the evolution of technology which provide the central bank digital currency. So what this means is that why I'm saying crypto never sleeps is not really relevant anymore is because we are seeing now how all major industries are transitioning onto the blockchain. So crypto never sleeps is relevant. Yes, it's not relevant because we are seeing traditional industries merging, transitioning, migrating onto the blockchain. So this channel will be so much more. The one thing that I haven't touched up on right now is a major impact is, of course, geopolitics. But that will just be the second part. So let's first round up. The first part is that we got lots to talk about. We need to talk, of course, about the base layers that's going to be relevant. Still think it is Ethereum. I still think Polkadot. I still think Solana. And there are a few others, I think Cardano has to come, Avalanche. I mean, we know there are some big base layers that are coming there, right? But now it's actually a race of which base layer is going to be able to provide the best setup for traditional enterprises, traditional industries to migrate onto the blockchain. So we're going to talk about all that, but not today, right? So just so you understand that in the future, I'm going to be focusing, it's going to be a variety of blockchain, crypto, of course, and I am going to stick to the Friday portfolio, cryptocurrency portfolio update. That's going to be more important than ever, actually. So during the week, it can be that I will make a video about a specific, coin or base layer. But there will be, and this the second part of this little video here today is geopolitics. Politics. It's going to play such a big, more important role than it has played in the past when it comes to cryptocurrencies. You see, geopolitics and politics has always played a very big role in terms of their impact on the traditional financial markets. But now as we're seeing this migration from traditional industries onto the blockchain, then of course, geopolitics is going to have the same impact as they have had on traditional finance as it's now going to have on the future of finance. So that means that we're going to have we need a much more emphasis, much more focus on geopolitics, which then in turn will take this channel into a full-blown news channel. Not full-blown news channel, but a full-blown channel that will provide you with my 20 years of insight. So we're going to talk about geopolitics, and just to touch up on this, and I will also make separate videos. We are seeing unrest in more currencies, in more countries than we have seen in many, many, many years in the past. And I'm not going to, well, you all know Sri Lanka. We know China is in a terrible place also. And, at that, with the COVID and the lockdown, we are seeing unrest in South America. We're seeing unrest in Europe. We are seeing unrest in Southeast Asia. We are seeing unrest in the Middle East, not particularly in the GCC countries. But if you go, to Iran, probably also there's we don't really hear about it, but Iran is not a happy place. Palestine, we're used to Palestine is, tiny, tiny. But nevertheless, across the world, we are seeing more civil unrest. Now, what we also need to pay attention to is that we are seeing similar policies and policies that actually no person that would have 2 cents of common understanding of logic would implement, right? But all of a sudden, we are seeing these policies being implemented across the world. So the question is that why would these politicians that should be smart, why would they implement the similar policy across the world that every common individual would understand wouldn't really benefit the country? And that must be because they have some other agenda. And we will go into that in the videos, in the streams in the future. I am gonna make one number one prediction here today. And the number one prediction is that politicians used to be older individuals. I'm not talking about race, I'm not talking about gender, I'm talking about older. And I do believe that an individual who should lead a country, he does need a certain amount of years of experience, right? Now that prediction is not the number one prediction, but it's very clear that we're going into the younger generation. We're already seeing that. My prediction is, just as we have seen in the past 10 years across the globe, we've been seeing these reality shows. We've been seeing these music star shows where, find the best singer of the year. I don't know, The Voice, I think it's called, or the new next superstar. So there were people that nobody knew about before, and all of a sudden they generate a specific superstar status, and they're being promoted in the media. These are the kind of people that will come into power, into presidents, prime ministers, leaders of many countries. Be looking good, dancing, sexy looking. And the majority of society will unfortunately vote for them. So that's a prediction, hardcore prediction number one. I've until now always given you predictions with the prices. Now I'm doing it with politics. And you will see and you will understand that my knowledge goes much further than just a crypto market. In fact, I'm not that good with crypto. And that's also probably why that a lot of videos in the past, they were lacking like real in-depth, not in-depth, they were lacking real knowledge, right? Because I was just talking about a coin. It's a good coin. It's quick like a Quicksilver, scalable, cheap, and all them nonsense. But it's because the moment, the timing wasn't right to let you in on what's to come. So that's about that. Now I want to round this up with my private life. My private life is I've moved to France, fighting still to see my kids. Believe it or not, I lost in court. I'm now only allowed to see my kids every second week for 4 hours. Absolutely ridiculous. Because I'm a racist. I am a violent man. And on top of that, I'm a junkie. Now, the judge, she took all that based on no evidence. No evidence. So it has been, we are appealing. I do believe, I hope, I wish. I don't wish, but I do hope. Of course I wish. But I believe that justice will prevail. I believe I'm a good father. Certainly I've never beaten them. Good old fashioned thing. I never did that. I'm not really an addict. Not really, I'm not an addict. I like a Bahama Mama, we all know that. But boxing, that's something Anthony Joshua and Usyk, they do. Tyson Fury a little bit. Actually, he's still the best. But yeah, so that's my personal thing. Now, when I'm saying that is that I'm still struggling with the internet. I don't have fiber high speed. Believe it or not, in Ukraine, it was working like a cat, a quick cat. And here it's a real shit show. Viva la France. That's all I got to say about that. Viva la France and the internet, that's a real piece of this. Anyway, that's all I got to say from today. We will start next week, by the way. Next week is SCO Summit, Shanghai Corporation Organization Summit. Many things are going to be revealed that will have an impact when it comes to geopolitics. I hope you enjoyed this little video, and do remember, love yourself first. Because only if you love yourself first, you'll be able to love people around you, and they will be able to love you back. And how do I know that? Very simple. Because my name is Nico Arachi, and I am number one.